A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Chapter 1, The Dreams Begin. Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital was a place of despair and desperation, a last resort for those haunted by the deepest and darkest corners of their minds. In one wing of the institution, a group of troubled teenagers found themselves inextricably bound by a shared terror, the malevolent specter of Freddy Krueger. Each night, as the hospital's lights dimmed and the world outside fell into the abyss of sleep, they were visited by the same nightmarish figure. A man with a scarred face, burnt and grotesque, his gloved hand bearing razors that gleamed malevolently in the dim light of their dreams. His name was Freddy Krueger, and he was the stuff of their darkest nightmares. Kristen Parker, a young woman with a wild, fiery spirit, bore the most unsettling gift of them all. She could pull others into her dreams, forcing them to share her torment and confront the grotesque terror that was Freddy. She was a solitary beacon of hope among the patients, her unique ability the key to unraveling the mystery of their shared torment. Dr. Neil Gordon, a compassionate and open-minded psychiatrist, was drawn to their plight. Their stories were dismissed as delusions by most of the staff, but not by him. He saw past their diagnoses and believed there was something more sinister at play. Their collective experiences, their shared torment, could not be mere coincidence. One day, while observing the group during a therapy session, he noticed the fear etched into their faces as they shared their horrifying tales of Freddy's nightly visits. It was clear that this was not just a case of shared delusions. Something supernatural was happening to these kids, and Dr. Gordon was determined to find out what. Kristen's ability was like a beacon for Dr. Gordon. She recounted how she could yank others into her dreams, how she'd pulled one of her roommates into the nightmarish world where Freddy reigned supreme. He had seen it for himself, and there was no denying the horror that awaited them all in their sleep. With his interest piqued and an air of urgency, Dr. Gordon began to interview each of the teenagers individually, piecing together the puzzle of their shared nightmares. Their descriptions were eerily similar: the filthy brown hat, the tattered red and green striped sweater, the scarred visage, and the deadly glove. The teenagers' stories converged on one chilling fact: they had all experienced Freddy's reign of terror in their dreams. One by one, they described their dream encounters with the sadistic killer who seemed to relish tormenting them. Kristen's nightmares were the most harrowing, the boundary between dream and reality becoming increasingly blurred. The room, in which they gathered for their therapy sessions, had a heavy air of apprehension, as if Freddy's presence lingered, haunting the corners of their minds. Each night, they lived in fear of falling asleep, knowing that Freddy would be there, lurking in the shadows of their dreams, ready to pounce and inflict unspeakable horrors upon them. Dr. Gordon felt an obligation to investigate further. He began researching the history of Springwood, the town where they all originated. The name Freddy Krueger came up in old newspaper clippings, a man who had been accused of heinous crimes against children, crimes so unforgivable that the parents of the town had taken the law into their own hands. As the days turned into weeks, Dr. Gordon grew more convinced that the teenagers were not delusional. There was something lurking in the collective subconscious of this group, something that had been festering for years. Freddy Krueger was not just a figment of their imagination. He was a malevolent force that had somehow transcended death. The unfolding horrors of Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital were just the beginning, and the terror that awaited the dream warriors in the dream world was beyond anything they could have ever imagined. Freddy Krueger's reign of terror was far from over, and they would need to confront him together if they had any hope of surviving the nightmares that awaited them. The dreams of the tormented teenagers were the gateway to a darkness that would test their sanity, their courage, and their very existence. The battle between good and evil had only just begun, and Freddy Krueger's malevolent presence loomed like an insurmountable shadow over the innocent souls of the Dream Warriors. Chapter 2: Forming the Dream Warriors. As the weeks passed at Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, the bond between the troubled teenagers grew stronger. United by their shared experiences of torment at the hands of Freddy Krueger, they recognized that their only chance of survival was to face the nightmare together. Dr. Neil Gordon, now fully committed to helping his young patients, became a beacon of hope in their otherwise dismal existence. It was under his guidance that they began to understand the true nature of their nightmares and their shared gift, the ability to harness their dream world powers. In a small, dimly lit room within the hospital, Dr. Gordon gathered the teenagers for a meeting. He introduced the concept of forming a united front against the malevolent Freddy, who seemed to gain strength from their fear. Each of you has a unique gift, a power in the dream world that can be harnessed to fight back against Freddy, Dr. Gordon explained. We'll call ourselves the Dream Warriors, and together we'll stand a chance. Kristen Parker, the group's natural leader, took charge. Her ability to pull others into her dreams was the linchpin of their strategy. We need to understand our powers, and we need to learn to control them, she declared. We can't let Freddy continue to pick us off one by one. Taryn White, a fierce and punkish girl, revealed her dream world gift during an exercise. As they closed their eyes, she held out her hands, and suddenly, her switchblade gloves appeared. The metallic blades gleamed menacingly. In my dreams, I'm a punk rocker with these, she explained. I can use them against Freddy. Will Stanton, a gentle but physically imposing young man, discovered that in his dream world he possessed incredible strength. The simple act of lifting a chair suddenly turned into an impressive feat of power. He was their protector, the one who could stand between Freddy and his victims. Philip Anderson, a quiet and creative soul, revealed his unique ability as well. In his dream, he became a master puppeteer, controlling marionette strings with finesse. It was a skill that could manipulate the dream world to their advantage. Jennifer Caulfield, a girl who aspired to be an actress, was surprised to find her ability was the most versatile. She could make her dreams come true, a power she intended to use to help her fellow dream warriors. The group began to train under Dr. Gordon's guidance. They would gather in a circle, close their eyes, and venture into the dream world together. Dr. Gordon acted as their guide, helping them navigate the often treacherous landscape of the subconscious. One by one, they learned to harness their powers, testing their limits and discovering new abilities. Their dream world sessions became a combination of therapy, support group, and a training ground for battle. Their connection with one another deepened as they shared their dreams, fears, and hopes. The Dream Warriors were no longer just a group of troubled teenagers. They were a united force, determined to take on the nightmare that had haunted them for so long. As days turned into weeks, the Dream Warriors became more skilled in their dream world abilities, their confidence growing with each successful encounter with Freddy. Kristen, the Dream Warriors leader, had seen her power evolve to the point where she could control and manipulate the dream realm to their advantage. But the road ahead was far from clear. Freddy Krueger was no ordinary adversary. His cunning and malevolence would test their newfound skills to the limit. The true battle between good and evil in the dream world had yet to begin, and the Dream Warriors were preparing to face their deepest fears and confront the ultimate evil that lurked in the shadows of their subconscious. Chapter 3: Unveiling Their Powers. In the weeks that followed their formation as the Dream Warriors, the group's training and exploration of their dream abilities intensified. The small room within Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital had become a sanctuary where they honed their skills and revealed the full extent of their dream world powers. Taryn White, the fearless punk rocker, was the first to unveil her unique abilities to the group. As they closed their eyes and delved into the dream realm, she held out her hands, and to everyone's amazement, her switchblade gloves materialized. The blades gleamed menacingly in the ethereal light of the dream world. In my dreams, Taryn explained, I'm a punk rocker, and these gloves are my weapons. I can use them to cut through Freddy, just like he's cut through us. Her newfound power was not only a symbol of her strength, but also a weapon against the nightmarish intruder. Will Stanton, a gentle giant with an imposing physical presence, soon discovered his dream world gift. As they practiced their dream exercises, he lifted a chair with ease, its weight defying the laws of reality. Will was their protector, the one who could stand between Freddy and his victims, using his newfound strength to shield the group from the nightmare's clutches. Philip Anderson, the quiet and creative member of the Dream Warriors, also revealed the extent of his abilities. In the dream world, he became a master puppeteer, controlling marionette strings with finesse. His strings could manipulate the dream realm, and the Dream Warriors realized that this power could be used to ensnare and control Freddy. Jennifer Caulfield, the aspiring actress, unveiled the most versatile power of all. Her ability allowed her to make her dreams come true. As the group closed their eyes and ventured into the dream world, she conjured scenarios and objects seemingly out of thin air. Her creative mind became their greatest asset, enabling them to reshape the dream world in their favor. Each revelation brought new hope and determination to the Dream Warriors. They realized that Freddy, despite his malevolence and cunning, was not invincible. Together, they could stand against him, utilizing their unique abilities to create a formidable force. Dr. Gordon watched with growing optimism as the Dream Warriors unveiled the depths of their Dreamworld powers. He could see that they had grown from a disparate group of troubled teenagers into a united and powerful force. The bond that had formed between them was unbreakable, their shared experiences and mutual support fortifying their determination to confront Freddy. As they continued their training, it became evident that they were not merely learning to harness their powers, but also to trust one another in the most profound way. They had become a family, fighting against a common, terrifying enemy that lurked in the realm of dreams. Their journey was far from over, and the true test of their abilities was yet to come. Freddy Krueger was still out there, and he would stop at nothing to drag them back into the depths of their worst nightmares. The Dream Warriors had the strength, the unity, and the newfound powers to stand against him, but the battle for their lives was only just beginning. Chapter 4: Nancy's Return. The dimly lit room at Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital had become a haven of hope, determination, and burgeoning strength for the Dream Warriors. Their training had evolved into a well-coordinated effort to understand and harness their dreamworld powers. Yet the looming shadow of Freddy Krueger remained a constant threat. It was in this crucial moment that a knock on the door disrupted one of their training sessions. The room's occupants turned to see a woman entering, a familiar face that sent shivers down their spines. Nancy Thompson, the sole survivor from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, had returned. Dressed in a worn leather jacket, her eyes bore the weight of her own traumatic past. She had faced Freddy Krueger before, and her knowledge and experience were invaluable to the Dream Warriors. It was Nancy who had managed to pull Freddy out of the dream world and into reality in the original nightmare, an act that had seemingly vanquished him. Dr. Neil Gordon greeted her with a mixture of surprise and gratitude. "Nancy, it's been a long time," he said. Nancy nodded, her gaze unwavering. "Freddy doesn't die, Dr. Gordon. He just bides his time until he can find a way back." She turned her attention to the dream warriors, the young faces who had, like her, become victims of Freddy's unrelenting terror. You all have something he wants, Nancy continued. He feeds on fear, on torment, and he'll do anything to break your spirit. But together, you have the power to fight back. We all do. Nancy became a mentor to the group, sharing her own knowledge about Freddy and the dream world. She recounted her experiences battling the malevolent dream stalker, imparting valuable insights that she had gained from her own harrowing encounters. As the days passed, Nancy's presence became a source of strength and guidance for the dream warriors. She taught them how to anchor themselves within the dream world, helping them resist Freddy's manipulation and control. She emphasized the importance of belief in their own abilities, stressing that fear was Freddy's greatest weapon. With Nance's guidance, the group became even more formidable. Their training intensified, and they grew more confident in their dream world powers. They understood that Freddy's return was inevitable, and they needed to be ready when he struck again. The nights in Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital were filled with dream exercises, where the dream warriors ventured into the dream world, honing their abilities under Nance's watchful eye. They learned to navigate the surreal landscapes of their nightmares, confronting their deepest fears and insecurities. Nance's return had added a new layer of determination to the group. With her guidance, they were no longer just a group of young survivors. They had become warriors in the battle against an ancient and malevolent evil. The Dream Warriors were now ready to face Freddy Krueger on his own turf. The dream world was no longer just a realm of terror, but a battleground where they would stand united and resolute, determined to banish the nightmare that had haunted them for so long. The stage was set for a final showdown in the dream world, and the Dream Warriors were ready to confront their deepest fears, with Nance's wisdom and their newfound powers to guide them. Freddy's reign of terror was about to face its greatest challenge yet. Chapter 5: Secrets of Freddy's Past. As the Dream Warriors continued their intensive training under the guidance of Nancy Thompson, they knew that to defeat Freddy Krueger, they had to understand him. The key to unraveling the nightmare that had plagued them lay buried in the darkest corners of Freddy's past. Nancy had been the first to delve into this enigmatic history, having survived her own harrowing encounter with the malevolent dream stalker. She shared what she had learned from her own investigations, sparking the group's curiosity about the origins and source of Freddy's power. Together, they began to unearth the disturbing truths about the man who had become their tormentor. It was Dr. Gordon who managed to find old newspaper clippings from the archives, chronicling the dark past of Freddy Krueger. The article spoke of a man named Frederick Charles Krueger, a janitor at a local school, who had been accused of heinous crimes against children. The accusations were so disturbing that the parents of Springwood, the town where they all hailed from, had decided to take the law into their own hands. It was then that the dreadful tale emerged. The parents had hunted Freddy down, cornering him in a boiler room. There, they doused him in gasoline and set him on fire, burning him alive. The parents believed that this act would finally put an end to the evil that Freddy had committed. But Freddy Krueger did not die. Instead, he became something far more sinister, a malevolent force that transcended death itself. He became a vengeful spirit, haunting the dreams of those he believed had wronged him. The Dream Warriors were horrified by the brutality of Freddy's past and the injustice that had allowed him to become a nightmare that preyed upon innocent children. They realized that this dark history held the key to his vulnerability. Freddy's power came from the souls of his victims, the very children he had terrorized. His reign of terror was fueled by their fear, torment, and the energy he drew from their souls. It became clear that to defeat Freddy, they needed to sever the connection between him and his past victims. The Dream Warriors formulated a plan to confront Freddy in the dream world and release the tormented souls that had become the source of his power. Their mission was to free those he had victimized and end his reign of terror once and for all. With Nance's guidance and the newfound knowledge about Freddy's past, the Dream Warriors were prepared to undertake their most perilous journey yet. The battle against the malevolent Dream Stalker had reached a critical juncture, and the group was poised to confront their deepest fears and unravel the enigmatic secrets of their tormentor's past. Chapter 6: Showdown in the Dream World. The night of reckoning had arrived. The Dream Warriors had honed their dream world powers, unearthed the secrets of Freddy's past, and prepared themselves for the ultimate confrontation. With their newfound knowledge and unwavering determination, they were ready to face the malevolent Dream Stalker head-on. In their dimly lit room at Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, the group gathered one last time. Nancy, who had become their mentor and guide, addressed the group with a sense of urgency. "Tonight, we face Freddy in the dream world," she said, her voice unwavering. "We know his power comes from the souls of his victims, the children he terrorized. We need to free them from his grasp." Dr. Neil Gordon added, "Our unity, our belief in our abilities, and our understanding of his past are our greatest weapons. We have a chance to break his hold on us." With their determination and a shared sense of purpose, the Dream Warriors closed their eyes and entered the dream world. The dream took them to a distorted, surreal version of their surroundings. An eerie sense of dread permeated the air, but they had learned to control their fear. As they ventured deeper into the dream world, they could sense Freddy's malevolent presence drawing near. He was there, lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce on his unsuspecting prey. Kristen took the lead, using her unique gift to guide the group. She summoned the group into her dream, a dark, deserted alley. She could feel Freddy's presence closing in, and she knew it was time to confront their tormentor. Suddenly, Freddy emerged from the shadows, his scarred face twisted in a wicked grin. His gloved hand, adorned with gleaming razors, reached out toward them. The battle had begun. Taryn, the punk rocker, transformed her dream self. Her switchblade gloves appeared, glinting with menace. She lunged at Freddy, slashing with all her might. Freddy howled in agony as the blades cut through him. The Dream Warriors could see that physical attacks in the dream world had an impact. Will, with his superhuman strength, stepped forward, shielding the group from Freddy's assaults. His colossal form stood resolute, and he deflected Freddy's blows with ease. He was their guardian, a formidable obstacle in the way of their tormentor. Philip, the puppet master, used his strings to ensnare Freddy. Marionette strings wrapped around Freddy, trapping him in their invisible grip. He struggled to break free, but Philip's control over the dream world had become undeniable. Jennifer, the dream manipulator, unleashed her power. She conjured scenarios and objects that disrupted Freddy's control over the dream world. Her creativity became a potent weapon, allowing the Dream Warriors to reshape the battlefield in their favor. Nancy, with her experience and understanding of Freddy, led the charge. She called upon the knowledge she had gained through her own encounters with the Dream Stalker. With conviction, she approached Freddy, determined to confront the evil that had haunted her for so long. The Dream Warriors, united and determined, pressed their attack. Freddy, despite his cunning and malevolence, was pushed to the brink of defeat. He screamed and thrashed as their combined powers overwhelmed him. The dream world became a battleground, a surreal landscape of torment and retribution. The Dream Warriors fought with an unrelenting spirit, determined to free the souls that Freddy had imprisoned for so long. As Freddy's power waned, the dream world began to disintegrate, the surreal landscape crumbling around them. The souls of his past victims, now free from his grasp, ascended into a radiant light. With a final, collective effort, the Dream Warriors banished Freddy from the dream world. He howled in agony as he was pulled away from them, disappearing into the inky darkness of the dream realm. The Dream Warriors had won their first battle against Freddy, but they knew that the nightmare was far from over. Freddy Krueger, the malevolent dream stalker, was not so easily defeated. The true battle between good and evil was yet to come, and the Dream Warriors were determined to face it head on. Chapter 7: The Cost of Victory. As the dream world crumbled and the radiant light of freed souls illuminated the surreal landscape, the remaining Dream Warriors emerged victorious from their showdown with Freddy Krueger. The malevolent dream stalker had been banished, at least for the time being. But the victory came at a heavy cost. When the dream world had settled, the Dream Warriors found themselves standing in the same dimly lit room within Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital where their journey had begun. The sense of relief that washed over them was palpable, their collective triumph tinged with disbelief that they had managed to defeat Freddy. Yet, as their eyes scanned the room, it became apparent that not all of them had made it through the battle unscathed. Taryn, the fierce punk rocker with the switchblade gloves, lay lifeless on the floor, a trail of blood staining her jacket. Her lifeless form was a stark reminder of the harsh reality they faced. Grief and shock washed over the group. Taryn had been a vital member of the Dream Warriors, her bravery and determination a source of strength for the entire group. Her loss was a devastating blow, a reminder that the battle against Freddy was fraught with peril. Dr. Neil Gordon, Nancy, and the remaining Dream Warriors gathered around Taryn, their expressions heavy with sorrow. They realized that their mission had exacted a steep price, and they mourned the loss of their friend and comrade. Taryn's death was not the only casualty. Philip, the quiet puppet master, was also missing. The Dream Warriors had lost two of their own in the battle, and the group was left to grapple with the harsh reality of their sacrifices. The sense of loss and mourning hung heavy in the room, their victory over Freddy overshadowed by the weight of their fallen friends. They had entered the dream world as a united force, but they had come out of it forever changed. Taryn and Philip's sacrifices were a stark reminder that their battle against Freddy was far from over, and that the malevolent dream stalker would stop at nothing to exact his revenge. The Dream Warriors were left with a sense of solemn determination, their grief fueling their commitment to confront the evil that had haunted them for so long. As they faced the harsh reality of their losses, the remaining members of the group knew that they needed to press forward. Freddy Krueger was not defeated. He was merely vanquished for the time being. The battle between good and evil in the dream world was far from over, and the Dream Warriors were determined to face it with unwavering resolve, honoring the sacrifices of their fallen friends. Chapter 8: Pulling Freddy into Reality. With heavy hearts and a renewed sense of determination, the remaining Dream Warriors, along with Nancy and Dr. Neil Gordon, knew that their battle against Freddy Krueger was not over. Taryn and Philip's sacrifices had not been in vain, and the group was determined to confront the malevolent dream stalker with a resolve that had only deepened in the face of loss. Nancy, who had faced Freddy before and understood the depths of his malevolence, shared her plan with the group. She believed that Freddy's true vulnerability lay in the waking world, where he could be confronted and destroyed once and for all. "We have to bring Freddy out of the dream world and into reality," Nancy explained. "That's the only way to end his reign of terror." Dr. Gordon, who had become a steadfast ally in their battle, echoed Nancy's sentiments. "We need to use what we've learned about Freddy to our advantage." We know his power comes from the fear he instills. We need to face him without fear, confront the evil that he represents. The group, with a mixture of fear and determination, embarked on a plan to pull Freddy into the waking world. Their understanding of his past and the source of his power had become their greatest assets. Nancy, who had been through the process before, would lead the way. With the Dream Warrior's support, they embarked on a collective journey into the dream world. Kristen, using her unique gift, summoned the group into her dream, a surreal landscape that held a connection to the waking world. They knew that confronting Freddy in the dream world was just the first step. Their mission was to drag him back into reality. The battle was to be the ultimate test of their unity and determination. In the dream world, Freddy emerged once more, his scarred face twisted into a sinister grin. He taunted the Dream Warriors, using their fears and insecurities against them. But the group had come prepared, armed with the knowledge of his past and the understanding of his vulnerabilities. Nancy, her eyes ablaze with determination, faced Freddy head on. She called upon the strength of her past encounters and the lessons she had learned. With the Dream Warriors by her side, they focused on the task at hand. Their unity, their understanding of Freddy's origins, and their refusal to succumb to fear became their greatest weapons. Nancy and the Dream Warriors confronted Freddy in the dream world with unwavering resolve, refusing to bow to his malevolence. As the battle raged on, the dream world began to destabilize, and the boundaries between dream and reality blurred. Freddy, weakened by their collective strength, began to lose his grip on the dream world, and the group felt a powerful force pulling them back into the waking world. Suddenly, they found themselves in the dimly lit room at Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, where they had spent so much of their time. But Freddy, the malevolent dreamstalker, had been pulled into reality with them. The climactic confrontation that followed was an eruption of chaos and terror. Freddy's twisted form was now in the waking world, a malevolent force unleashed upon the hospital. The true extent of his evil became horrifyingly clear. As the Dream Warriors and their allies battled Freddy in the hospital's stark, fluorescent lit corridors, they faced not just a supernatural menace, but a ruthless, sadistic killer who would stop at nothing to exact his revenge. The battle that had once been confined to the dream world had now become a life and death struggle in reality. The hospital's sterile walls became a battleground where the forces of good and evil clashed in a climactic showdown, each side determined to emerge victorious. With Nance's guidance and the collective strength of the Dream Warriors, they were determined to end Freddy's reign of terror once and for all. The battle between good and evil had transcended the dream world and entered the harsh light of reality, and the true extent of Freddy's malevolence was about to be revealed. Chapter 9: Finding Solace. The battle against Freddy Krueger had reached its climactic conclusion, and the surviving Dream Warriors had emerged victorious. The malevolent Dream Stalker had been defeated and vanquished from reality. Yet, the victory came at a great cost, and the group was left to grapple with the aftermath of their harrowing journey. As the adrenaline of the battle subsided, the Dream Warriors found themselves standing in the dimly lit room at Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, their sanctuary throughout their tumultuous journey. The harsh reality of their losses hung heavily in the air. Taryn and Philip, two brave members of their group, had made the ultimate sacrifice, giving their lives in the battle against Freddy. The weight of their absence was a constant reminder of the toll their mission had taken. Nancy, Dr. Gordon, and the remaining Dream Warriors gathered together, their expressions a mixture of relief and sorrow. The group, which had formed as a disparate collection of troubled teenagers, had become a tight-knit family. Their shared experiences, their trials, and their victories had forged bonds that were unbreakable. The hospital's sterile walls bore witness to their mourning, but it was also a place where they could find solace in one another. They had faced unimaginable horrors, and their unity had been their greatest strength. With Nance's guidance, the group began the process of healing. They shared stories and memories of their fallen friends, celebrating the bravery and strength that Taryn and Philip had demonstrated in the face of unimaginable evil. The Dream Warriors understood that the battle against Freddy had taken a toll not just on their physical well being but on their emotional and psychological states. The nightmares, the fear, and the trauma they had endured had left scars that would take time to heal. Nancy, who had once faced Freddy on her own, knew the importance of finding closure. She shared her experiences with the group, recounting the nightmares and the battles that had defined her life for so long. She assured them that they were not alone in their struggles. Dr. Gordon, who had been their anchor and guide throughout the journey, provided therapy and support to help them process their trauma. The group began to share their fears and anxieties, finding solace in the knowledge that they were not alone in their struggles. The hospital became a place of healing, a sanctuary where the Dream Warriors could confront their demons and begin the process of moving forward. Their bond, stronger than ever, became a source of strength as they faced the challenges of the real world. The nightmares, though vanquished for the time being, would never be forgotten. Freddy Krueger had left an indelible mark on their lives, but the Dream Warriors had emerged from the battle with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of the importance of their shared experiences. The process of finding solace was ongoing, but the surviving Dream Warriors were determined to move forward, honoring the memory of their fallen friends and carrying the lessons of their journey with them. The battle against evil had left scars, but it had also forged a family of survivors who would continue to support one another in the face of whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 10: A Hint of Dread. The aftermath of their battle against Freddy had left the surviving Dream Warriors in a state of introspection and healing. Their losses had been profound, and their shared experiences had left an indelible mark on each of them. As they moved forward, they were determined to support one another, knowing that their journey was far from over. Nancy, Dr. Gordon, and the remaining Dream Warriors had emerged from the battle with a sense of closure, knowing that they had faced the malevolent Dream Stalker and emerged victorious. Yet, a lingering sense of unease tugged at the edges of their consciousness. Freddy Krueger, the nightmare that had tormented them for so long, had been pulled into reality and defeated. The hospital's sterile walls had been the stage for their climactic showdown, and it was there that they had confronted their tormentor. But as they returned to a semblance of normalcy, the Dream Warriors couldn't shake the nagging feeling that Freddy may not be gone for good. The malevolent Dream Stalker had proven his resilience time and again, and they knew that he was not so easily vanquished. In the quiet moments of reflection, as they looked at the empty beds of Taryn and Philip, a sense of foreboding settled over them. The scars of their journey, both physical and emotional, were a constant reminder that the battle against Freddy had left deep wounds. The nightmares that had haunted their sleep for so long had been silenced, but a hint of dread lingered in the corners of their minds. They knew that the malevolent Dream Stalker had a way of clawing his way back from the depths of their subconscious. The hospital's dimly lit corridors, once a place of healing and sanctuary, now seemed to hold an eerie and unsettling aura. The Dream Warriors, with their shared experiences and deep bonds, couldn't help but wonder if they had merely put a temporary end to Freddy's reign of terror. As the story drew to a close, the lingering unease and the sense of foreboding left the door open for future nightmares. The battle against Freddy had been won, but the war against the malevolent Dream Stalker was far from over. The surviving Dream Warriors knew that they had to remain vigilant, that their unity and their shared experiences were their greatest assets in the face of the looming threat. The hint of dread that clung to them was a reminder that the nightmare might return, and they would be ready to face it together. Hello, fellow fiction fans. I'm thrilled you're enjoying Muted Gamer Fiction. Your support means the world to me. If you're loving our stories, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement fuels our storytelling. I'd love to hear from you. Share fanfic ideas, or just say hi in the comments. Let's build this community together. Thanks for being part of Muted Gamer Fiction. Keep listening, and your support keeps the stories coming. Can't wait to see your ideas. Happy listening, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next chapter.